Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about systemizing the Upwork process and how I have hired and trained virtual assistants to submit proposals for both my own company as well as my clients' companies. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Nico Hessel. I'm the founder and CEO of Upwork Outbound, where we help B2B businesses start generating revenue using Upwork. And at Upwork Outbound, our average client adds $10,000 in revenue to their business in the first 90 days. So I do feel extremely confident in my ability to grow and scale Upwork accounts. And so with that being said, let's dive in. All right, so as I'm sure many of you already know, Upwork is an incredible resource and one that I've personally used to generate over $70,000. But one of the big major downsides of Upwork is going to be the time commitment that it takes to be submitting proposals. And so if you are the one submitting proposals and you want to look at removing yourself from that process, this should give you a pretty good insight as to how we do it at Upwork Outbound. So first off, you're going to want to hire a virtual assistant. So where to look? You can go to agencies that provide this. You can go to Upwork and post a job looking for a virtual assistant, or you can go to social media. Now, my favorites are Twitter, or it's now known as X, and LinkedIn. And the reason that I like using social media to recruit VAs is mainly for one reason, right? In order to submit proposals, you need to have good written English. And if I go to Twitter or LinkedIn, I can immediately validate how good their written English is because I can look at all of their posts. And so that's a nice little tip for you. And so if I were you, I would send out, maybe 10-ish invites to interview. You'll probably get 7-ish to show up. And so on those interviews, this is what you're going to look for. Really just two main things: good written English and the ability to follow instructions, right? Submitting proposals is not hard if you have a good system. So all we need them to do is be able to write good written English and then follow our instructions. Pretty simple. And so on the interview, you're just going to educate them on your company. So tell them your industries, tell them the clients you provide, the services you provide, stuff like that. Look for competence and look for good spoken English, because obviously if they speak good English, then oftentimes they will write well in English. So next, after you have a few different VAs that you think could be potential good fits, I like to send them all a test. So I pay for 4 hours of their time. I educate them a little bit more in depth on my company, and I send them a test. And so the test includes, it's a document. I'll open it in just 1 second here, but it's a document. It includes instructions and then 2 Upwork jobs that they're going to apply for. And so they're not really applying, right? They're not on Upwork, but they're just writing a proposal in this Google document. And so I'm going to open it up right here. You can see it includes instructions at the top on how they will be writing these proposals. And it includes a template that they can use to submit or to write the proposals. And the variables are outlined in yellow. And then there are 2 job descriptions. Now, if I were you, I would just go on Upwork and look up the search terms that you use to find the jobs that you apply for and just copy one of those and paste it into a document. Or copy 2 of those, right? And so that's what I've done for these job descriptions. And then I just like to put first name is James or first name is John. That way it's obvious, right? Because obviously on Upwork, we go into the job work history section to find the job poster's first name. But obviously in this Google document, that would not be possible. And you'll still notice that some people don't put this first name into the first name variable. So if they don't do that, that's an obvious person to weed out. But I send them this document and then I give them 3 days to send it back to me, filled out. And then I just grade them, right? I grade them on how good their written English is, how good the personalized lines were, and if they were able to follow my instructions. Then I hire one. And in the end, you're never going to have a perfect idea as to who is the best fit. So in the end, you do just kind of have to reach into the dark a little bit and hire one of them. Then during the training process, if you think you made a bad decision, you can always fire them, or not even really fire them, but just let them go, right? And so for training a virtual assistant, I dedicate 10 to 15 hours. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. 4 to 5 calls that are each 2 to 3 hours long. I train my VAs in 7 to 10 days. And for the general structure, I got this from Alex Hormozi's book. I believe it was in $100 Million Leads. Essentially, this is how we train our employees. And this applies to pretty much all of our employees who are training, right? Who don't already have a bunch of prior experience in the position that they're going to be doing. So first, we tell them how to do it. So this is just general education, right? Educating them on our company, how we submit proposals, how we bid, how we boost, etc. Then we're going to show them how we do it. So we'll share our screen, walk them through the process, right? They're still not doing any of this, but instead they're just soaking up all the information. And then third, they do it while we watch. And then we provide feedback and we repeat this process, right? So it's fairly self-explanatory, but we just run through that a bunch of different times in each different industry, or excuse me, not industry, in each different section that we are training them on. So that's for the general structure. Then a few things to review. First is going to be job criteria, right? What do you want them applying to? Then general workflow. What do they do when they log into Upwork? Where do they go? How do they find jobs, etc., etc. How to bid and boost, how to write personalized lines, right? And some of this should be in the training the test document that you send them, right? Because you want to see how good they follow instructions, and they have to have some instruction on how they will write the personalized line. And so I like to give some of this during the test phase and then give a much more in-depth training during the training phase. Then you're going to want to show them how to find the job poster's first name and how to apply to jobs with multiple questions. Now, these are just a few of the very many things that we review during our training process. And so note that you will probably have a lot more. But basically, you want to take each thing that you do, during the process that you submit proposals, and then you want to systemize it, give them instructions, and then teach them how to do it. And the way I like to do this is I like to condense it all into a cheat sheet with looms that they can review and with a bunch of context. So if they ever have any questions, they can immediately refer back to the cheat sheet and hopefully find their answer in there. Right. And so that's something that's helped me a lot. And I don't really have to manage the virtual assistants, right? I don't have to actively be answering questions every single day about which job is a good fit, which jobs aren't a good fit. Instead, they can go into that cheat sheet that they have, and then they can reference that. And 9 times out of 10, that cheat sheet will have the answer. And so those are going to be a few things to review. And then I let them out on their own, right? I let them start submitting proposals for me. I start them with about 10 hours per week. And then I'll give them 1 or 2 weeks, and I have them submit proposals Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I just have them do 3 hours Monday, 3 hours Wednesday, 4 hours on Friday. And then on Saturdays, I hop on a call, and especially this is important in the first month or so when they're doing the proposals on their own. I hop on a one-on-one call with them on the weekends, and we review some of their proposals, right? So I give them feedback, good things, bad things, really bad things that they did, and then we just kind of go back and forth, and it's kind of like more training, additional training, and just providing a lot of support for them while they're still getting used to this process. And I do like to set my virtual assistants up with a reporting system, because obviously I don't want to have to be communicating with them every single day and talking about how many proposals were submitted, how many messages I have, all that sort of thing. And so instead, I set them up with my reporting system. They fill out the spreadsheet every single time they submit proposals, and then they just send it to me. So I can just click on the spreadsheet and see all of the up-to-date statistics. And so I'm going to link that exact reporting form as well as the test I send to my virtual assistants that we reviewed a little bit before in this video, as well as my full training guide. So 3 different documents: the training guide, the test that I send to the virtual assistants, as well as the full virtual assistant reporting system. So I'm going to attach all of those in the description down below. But now we can move on what to pay a virtual assistant. And so this will vary quite a bit depending on the location, the area that you are hiring from. I hired my virtual assistant from the Philippines, and I pay her $7 an hour. But that being said, she has an awesome bonus structure. And so she earns $5 for every single time that a meeting is booked in through Upwork. And she earns $25 every time we sign a client through Upwork. And so on about 10 hours of work per week, she typically makes between $100 and $150 each week, right? Which is awesome for her. That's an amazing salary in the Philippines. And so this has kind of been the payment plan that we have decided on. It's been awesome. The bonus structure has worked out super well for us. I highly recommend that you implement it, right? It just makes me feel a lot more comfortable knowing that my employees' incentives are directly aligned with mine, right? Because if my virtual assistant tries harder and she focuses more, writes better personalized lines, etc., she will make me more money, and she knows that she herself will also make more money. So that is something that I highly recommend you implement. And it has been extremely profitable for us, right? And so in January of 2024, she worked 10 hours per week, submitted about 50 proposals per week on average, and she generated $15,000 in revenue from Upwork, right? And so you can see that if we're paying someone $500 to $600 each month and they are generating $15,000 in revenue, that is going to be extremely profitable for us. And during that time, I probably spent only 2 or 3 hours managing her the entire month. And so, like I mentioned, in January 2024, we generated $15,000 in revenue. And obviously, that being said, she doesn't message any of the leads. She just applies to the jobs. Right? I handle all of the appointment setting and sales calls. But she was able to generate us enough leads to make $15,000 in revenue from Upwork. So you can see it's extremely profitable and it does not take very much of my time. And so that's all we got for this video. If you are interested in having us create your Upwork profiles, write all your scripts, do all your keyword research, and just set up the entire infrastructure that we have used to generate tens of thousands of dollars in profit every single month, then you'll be able to book a meeting with me and my team using the link in the description. That's all we've got for this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.